the urine, okay, made small crystals. And he knew that he had been giving iodine to the dog. And he noticed that these crystals, when the light in the corridor was reflecting in the polished floor, he noticed a particular behavior in the crystals. And then he discovered polarizers, and very cheap polarizers. And then he started a company named Polaroid, which was very famous, you know. Some years ago was as famous as Apple now, or even more. You know, they made these cameras, automatic cameras, like you take a picture and it appeared. I had one camera like similar to that. Yeah, it was another brand anyway. This camera and Polaroid made a photographic material, you know, and things like that. And you know that this fascinated me, how this observation of a guy of the pee of a dog, and you know, and I forgot the whole thing in the optics. I didn't remember even myopia, astigmatism, what it meant, or polarization, what really was. I've forgotten, right? I had to study again. But these small curiosities, I didn't know why they were so amazing for me. And when I had to study again, or you know, for this exam, I noticed that the curious things, they were what I was attracted to, you know, like how this really was, you know, like I don't know, Newton, for instance, the laws of Newton. Yeah, but how they were really said by Newton, not from a book. You know, can get any book and look, Newton, blah blah blah. Yeah, but can I read the works of Newton written from Newton? And it was very difficult because I didn't know that the book, the Principia, is called, where the laws of Newton appear, is written in Latin, and I studied Latin, but not enough to understand a book like this. And I remember I found a translation. You know, I felt like Indiana Jones, a French translation in a hidden library in France that I heard. Somebody told me about that. It's very famous now, but at the time I didn't know it. It's the Bibliothèque Nationale Française, the National Library of France. So you can access to thousands of volumes, you know, of books, and it was a translation to French of the laws of Newton. And I printed, you know, like it was 1,000 pages or something like that, and I printed out when nobody was around, you know, because we have 1,000 pages, and I remember bounding the book myself, you know, and reading it as if I was the Bible, you know. It's the most famous physics books ever, you know, the Principia of Newton, and it was different when it was in another book. It was called Tipler, very famous, you know, the textbooks, and I was like, how do you call that when you don't feel bad? Disappointed. I felt disappointed, because disappointed, and at the same time really attracted to finding out how these discoveries were really made, and how they were enunciated. I don't remember, said the first time. But I have to study, and I have to say my lessons in a traditional way, but at the same time I kept like this hidden place inside me where I tried to really understand how these actions inside, how these big discoveries were, how the scientists got to that point where he said what he said, what experiments, what facts. And because it doesn't appear in the books, you know, you take any book, and it's like a list, and it's just so boring. When I was in class, it was the same. Sorry, but it's typical, but it's just so boring. Because it's a list of things, and I remember. But science is not a list. It's something that challenges you, that you don't know how to do, and you work for hours. You make hypotheses. You work with instruments. You try to solve problems. And nothing of the kind was in the topics I studied, But you're in academia, you're in university, and you have to do what the others do. So I had to prepare my lessons for the exam in a traditional way, and then I remember having this is uncomfortable, so it must be good to speed it out. I remember having this exam, and at the same time my father was dying from leukemia. Had a leukemia, and then in 2 months he passed away, and it was hard, even though I didn't have a good relationship with my father. But anyway, it was my father. So, and I remember the doctor told me that my father has a leukemia, and I was about to have this exam, national exam. So all my life, was at stake at the time, and then I had to focus on my exam. From the point of view, is a catastrophic, is a dramatic, because my father was dying, but I had to study, but I didn't want to. I felt like we're all going to die. There's no point in studying, Yeah, and I remember 2 weeks. Having a really bad time trying to concentrate, and then we went to the doctor, and the doctor said to my wife at the time, said, "Did you know you were pregnant?" I said, "What? What? No more. The point is that suddenly, it was like this connection of the piece, it's so topical, my father was dying, and a new life, it's a typical plot for a bad movie, that you see in the afternoon, and you doze off because it's so typical, but it's true. So, and I remember teaching, and at the same time that I was doing my exam, because I had a temporary contract, and the temporary contract ended. So I remember telling my students, okay, on Monday I have an exam, and maybe if I fail, I couldn't teach you again. They were like, what? So they think that we are like gods, and we are permanent